You already know what to do. That's the part no one says out loud. That's the part that should keep you up at night. Not because you lack information, but because you have enough and you're still not moving. You know you should wake up earlier. You feel it when the alarm goes off and you reach for your phone instead. You know the business idea has legs. You feel it when someone else launches something similar 6 months later. You know the relationship is drifting. You feel it in the silences you've stopped trying to fill. You know, you feel, you do nothing. And then you open another tab, download another PDF, save another video for later, and call it progress. That's not preparation. That's avoidance with better branding. And some part of you already knows it. So the question isn't what you need to learn. The question is why you already know and still don't move. Before we go further, this is not fast content. There are no cuts, no music drops, no dopamine tricks designed to keep you watching. This is audiobook format. One voice, one idea, sustained attention for 10 minutes. If that feels hard, good. That resistance is the first thing we're here to train. A man who cannot sit with one idea for 10 minutes will not sit with one goal for 90 days. Start here. Start now. Here's the real problem, and it's specific. You are not lazy. Lazy men don't research productivity systems at 11 at night. You are not undisciplined. Undisciplined men don't buy the courses, read the first chapters, start the journals. You do all of that. You are a man caught between knowing and being, between understanding a thing and becoming it. You've watched the video on cold exposure. You've never taken a cold shower. You've read 3 books on stoicism. You still spiral when your boss sends a short email at 4 p.m. You've studied the investment strategies. Your savings account collects dust. This is the gap, and it doesn't close with more information. It closes with something far less comfortable. There is a concept in Japanese warrior tradition called Fudoshin, literally, the immovable mind. It does not mean stubborn. It does not mean rigid. The samurai who carried Fudoshin was not a man who ignored the storm. He was a man who watched it without being moved by it. Here is what that means in practice. His thoughts did not control him. When fear said stop, he moved anyway. When comfort said rest, he trained anyway. When doubt said you're not ready, he engaged anyway. The mind produced noise, as minds always do, and Fudoshin meant that noise had no authority over action. A samurai student was once asked by his master, "When you feel afraid before a duel, what do you do?" He answered, "I remember my training." The master shook his head. "No, you feel the fear and you draw your sword. The memory comes with the motion. That is Fudoshin. Not the absence of hesitation, action that does not wait for hesitation to leave." The first application. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a feeling. Feelings are unreliable. You will feel ready approximately never. Not for the conversation you need to have, not for the project you need to start, not for the habit you need to build. Fudoshin doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what is required. This week, identify one thing you've been preparing to do, one thing you have enough knowledge to begin, and begin it today. Not tomorrow, not after you finish one more video, today, before you sleep. 5 minutes, 1 paragraph, 1 email sent, 1 rep done. The immovable mind does not negotiate start dates. The second application. Treat distraction as the test, not the enemy. When you sit down to do the work, and the phone buzzes, and a better idea appears, and your mind says, what if there's a smarter approach? That is not bad luck. That is the exam. The samurai called this sutemi, the willingness to throw yourself in without guarantee of return. Every time you close the tab and return to the work, you are practicing fudoshin. Every time you don't, you are practicing its opposite. Build one protected hour into your day. No phone in the room. One task. Nothing else permitted. Not because you'll be perfectly focused, you won't, but because you'll learn to stay when the mind wants to leave. That is the entire skill. The third application. Measure output, not effort. The knowledge collector measures how much he has consumed. The man with fudoshin measures what he has produced. At the end of each day, ask not, what did I learn today? Ask, what did I do with what I know? One question feeds the ego. The other builds a life. Keep a simple log, not a habit tracker with streaks and colors. One sentence. What did I execute today? That question, asked honestly every night, will reorganize your entire relationship with time. When fudoshin is lived, not studied, not understood, lived, something shifts that is difficult to describe from the outside. The man stops performing readiness. He stops waiting for motivation to arrive like a guest he has to prepare the house for. He stops negotiating with himself about the work. He simply does the work. And because he does the work improves him. And because he has improved, the next thing becomes clearer, and the one after that. He is not a man without doubt. He is a man whose doubt no longer gets a vote. That is not a dramatic transformation. It is quiet. It looks like waking up and starting before thinking about it. It looks like finishing what was said to be finished. It looks from the outside like discipline, but from the inside, it feels like something simpler. It feels like finally being a man who does what he knows. You have enough. You have always had enough. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not information. It is execution repeated until the executing becomes who you are. Fudoshin, the immovable mind. Not moved by fear, not moved by comfort, not moved by the voice that says, not yet. Take what you already know. Do something with it today. That is all.